debt before we start worrying about how we're going to pay it off. It seems that everything now costs more. Petrol, interest rates on credit cards, and the amount of personal debt that Britons have is almost £1.5 trillion. Money expert Andrew Oxlade is here, and thank heaven for that. It's looking pretty tough out there. Very, very hard to make the books balance.
It is. I mean, it's been a bad few years anyway. We've had, obviously, recession, and we've come out of recession, but actually, weirdly, for most people, it probably didn't feel like recession, and now it's about to, because we've got rising costs. With interest rates are likely to rise at some point in the next year or two, and that's going to squeeze household budgets.
So, in other words, even if you're earning the same amount that you were last year, you'll be worse off.
Yeah, I mean, people have benefited from low rates, and that's made it a lot easier for some people. But what they don't realise fully, I think, is the fact that taxes are going to rise, costs are rising, petrol's gone up an enormous amount already, and that just squeezes the amount they're going to have to spend.
And most of us have grown up expecting to borrow money, thinking it's perfectly normal to take out loans, and what's more, being offered money freely and with an open hand by all sorts of different banks and institutions. Are we going to have some kind of major rethink about what we think is normal?
I certainly hope so. I mean, it has shifted. It's a great point, because it's a huge generational shift from the generation before, which believed in having a proper budget and understanding their finances, and you earn money and then you spend money, and you don't borrow money.
Used to have biscuit tins, didn't they? One tin for the rent. Did yours? One for the rent, a Christmas biscuit tin, one for the butcher, and that way you knew what money you had, you put it in the tin, and you weren't going to suddenly get caught unawares. We're all very, very different from that, aren't we?
Well, now if you want something, what do? You go and get a credit card and you buy it. It's as easy as that, and you've got as long as you like to pay that back.
So we're feeling the sting of being, well, yes, we're feeling the sting of being the credit card generation, aren't we, suddenly?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is it. It was always going to come home to roost at some point, and I'm amazed, actually, it's taken this long. And we're still really only at the beginning of this. There is still credit available out there. It's tighter than it was a few years ago. But yeah, it's going to start kicking in. People are going to realise that they've been switching around on 0% deals and things like that those deals are drying up and have been now for a while, or there's extra charges hidden in there, or charges on transferring money that's now costing them a lot more than it was to have that debt.
Well, sitting next to you is a young lady. She contacted us. Her name's Hannah. She's 20 grand in debt. Very brave of you, actually, to come and talk to us about this. And I know you do feel embarrassed and like blushing and hiding away. What made you decide to come and talk about it on the Vanessa show?
I just really want to get some advice, and good advice as well, because it's obviously so expensive to get, and when you're in debt, you can't really sort of afford to spend any more money.
How do you reckon you mounted up 20 grand's worth of debt?
I got my first credit card when I was about 18, and obviously started spending money which I didn't have on clothes and holidays, and I think it dawned on me when I was about 20 that I couldn't carry on spending like it, and